first started therapy, one of the first assignments that my therapist had me to do is something called a trauma timeline. So she had me to write out on a timeline from the year that I can remember of a trauma that happened. And I started from as early as I can remember. So for instance, I said 1990, I burned down a house. 1993 was molested. 1997, this happened, just like that. And so I did that and we reviewed it. And when I went home, I thought about all of that stuff. And I could not help but to just let it out. And that's a part of healing. You don't hold back. You cannot hold it back. Let that stuff come up. Let it come up. Let it come out. So I started crying. I thought about everything. I felt everything again. It was almost as if it was fresh. That's why you have to be ready. You have to be ready. It's a normal part of healing. So I started crying and I thought about this stuff for days, and more things started to come up. Just more memories started to come up. More pain, more pain. Healing is about letting all of the pain, everything that you felt, everything that you've been holding on to, it's about letting that stuff come up and come out so that you, the real you, can come forth. And so I did that. That was one of the assignments that she had me to do. Something else that we talked about is, at the time I was dealing with a lot of challenges with my daughter. We spoke about those things. I let that out. Another thing that we spoke about was my relationships. I had a lot of betrayal in my relationships for some reason, but I never had really spoke about it with a therapist or with anybody, just some of how it made me really feel. So I was able to do that. I was able to talk about the betrayals, but I also was able to talk about my lessons. We spoke about my anxiety and depression. That is something that I noticed that it runs in my family. It runs deep. And I used to claim it. I would be like, my anxiety, my depression. After therapy, I no longer claim that. I divorced it. You will not hear that you will not hear me claiming that as mine. Because this is something I take serious. My entire family struggle with this. Why would I claim this sickness that have been affecting us? So I divorced it. I made a decision that day that I'm no longer going to say mine. That's not mine. Okay? It's not mine. It was something that I used to deal with. All right? So be careful what you're claiming to be yours, because words are powerful. I spoke about the molestation from the ages of 9 through 13, and a new information came to me, because remember, I was a young kid when this happened and I never really opened up about anybody. I had a revelation that the person that molested me was a boyfriend of a family member, and the revelation that I got was that she knew about it. And so that was more pain on top of pain. Because I was like, I was a sacrifice. So that was hard. That was really hard. That was a hard pill to swallow. And you see why it's important to go back. You need to go back, because then there's information there. So I realized that. I dealt with that. What else did we speak about? I spoke about the bullying in school and in the workplace. I was bullied a lot from a little kid all the way throughout high school. Even after I started working, I always was bullied. The Lord gave me a revelation about that. It was because I was different. That's it. It was because I was different and I did not fit in. So when I had confessed to my therapist that I don't like speaking, I had a fear of speaking in front of a camera, in front of people. I had a fear of just speaking. And not only that, I did not like to hear myself speak. In my head, I hated my voice. I would be recording and I would hear my voice in the background and I would be like, that's how I sound? Let me know if any of you deal with that. That was my issue. And so that was, for a long time, it was really hard for me to hear my voice. I would always mute the background if I'm speaking. If someone else was recording, And I heard myself and I'm like, delete it, delete it, delete it. I did not like to hear myself speak. And so she had me to do something that had changed my life. It has broken off that fear. I don't know what happened. The assignment was, she had me to record my voice, record myself speaking, and then play it back and listen to it, and then write about what I felt and what I was thinking. That's it. And when we had our next session, we were to talk about it. And I did this. I dread doing it. I dread it, right? I waited until the last day, until it was time for me to go to therapy again the day before. And then I'm like, let me just do it because she's going to ask me about it. And so I was at the library, and I remember I just took out my phone and just recorded my voice. And I was like, this is going to be horrible. And I played it back. And when I heard myself speak, I cannot tell you guys what happened inside of me, but I did not feel or think what I thought previously. I was amazed at my voice. I was like, this is how I sound? I felt like it was a gift that I had all along and just never opened it. Was afraid to use the gift. This is how I felt. And so I got emotional again, and I'm crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it was a mess. It was a mess. And so I wrote about what I heard and what I felt. And when I went to therapy the next day, she said, did you do the assignment? That was the first thing she asked me. And I'm like, yes. And she said, so what happened? What did you hear? She wanted to hear it too. And I was like, man, listen, I feel like my voice is beautiful. I was like, this is a gift that this is a gift that I had that I was rejecting. That's how I felt. Like I had a gift that I was rejecting. I was ashamed of because of the thoughts that I had in my head, the story that I was telling myself. So what story are you guys telling yourself? The only reason that I am sitting here right now, looking into this camera, talking to you guys, however many of you are going to view this and listen to this, is because of that therapy assignment that I did. And the story that I rejected, because I was telling myself this story. And I was telling myself this for years. I don't like the way I speak. I'm shy to speak in front of the camera. I'm shy to speak in front of people. And I no longer feel that way anymore. You see what healing does? That's what healing does. Healing brings out the highest version of you. It brings out the real you. And so everything that was there, that was dead, false identities, that's not of you, it has to go, it has to go, it has to come out. It has to come out. The real you will come up. And so that is my story. That's my therapy story. That's my journey to healing and wholeness. I encourage you guys to heal. Begin to heal. Find you a therapist, get you a journal, start writing about things, and just allow the tears, the pain, let it come out. However that looks, let it come out, because you want the real you to come forth into the earth. The real you is more happier, more healthier, more loving, more richer, more wealthier, more prosperous, more understanding, more everything. You want that version of you. So please, I encourage you to heal. I pray that this video blessed